DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are on part 4 of our ongoing mini-series, which is Men Stop Being Pussies. Before we get into this, I remind you of 3 things. First of all, my text message number down below in the description. Secondly, the link to workonmygame.com. That's the place where you get on my email list completely free. Get my daily emails that I send out every single day to your inbox completely free. Just go to workonmygame.com. And third, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You know you need a coach. You know you need someone to help hold you accountable and help you strategize and systematize what you're doing so that you can start getting more predictable results more consistently. And you know you need to do it right now. Let me help you solve all of those problems. Just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you can secure me as your direct personal coach, and we can get to work on that stuff starting now and not later. Again, that's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description to this episode as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pick up where we left off on part 4 of our ongoing series here today. And again, this is all for men, how to stop being pussies. If you have not heard what we talked about in the first 3 parts of this series, you can go check those in the archive, or just go backwards in whatever platform you're listening to or watching this show. Let's pick up on point number 10. Topic again today is men stop being pussies. Number 10. Excuse me. You do not need group consensus to stand on what you believe. You do not need group consensus to stand on what you believe. This is another negative side effect of a feminized society, is that we're getting lots of men out here who are who have things that you believe in that you won't stand on, not because you stop believing in them and not because you cannot defend what you believe, but because you don't have the balls to stand up in front of a bunch of people who may be in disagreement with you and hold your position. A lot of men just don't have the balls. You know what you believe, you know why you believe it, and you are actually willing to defend it. You just don't have the balls to defend it, so you're not doing it. So you've been emasculated by society, or maybe by a person, maybe by a woman. If you believe that it's impossible for a boy to become a girl, I think a lot of you who listen to this show do believe that. You believe it's impossible, and it's not a thing that a boy can become a girl. There's no such thing as a transgender person. You can't transition your gender. You can't go from a girl to a boy, or from a boy to a girl, or from a boy or a girl to a not a thing, to a he, it, they, they, them. You don't believe in any of that bullshit. If you believe that, you don't need anyone else in the room or anyone else in the conversation to agree with you for you to stand on this truth, if you believe it. One of the biggest challenges of a feminized society is that a lot of men are now doing what women do, which is look for a group agreement and consensus in order to stand on their beliefs. Now, again, I'm not saying there are no women out there who won't have some balls and say what they believe. There are many of them. I mentioned them previously on the show. And it's not to say that there are not men who will stand on their things. I mean, I'm telling you that right now. That's the very point. But what a lot of men are doing these days is, again, behaving like a woman and looking for group agreement and group consensus in order to stand on any of their beliefs. If you're doing this as a man, you're being a pussy. All right, the very point of this series is for you to stop being a pussy. All right, that's the reason why I'm talking about it. If and when you know that what you're doing is right, you don't need anyone to agree with, cosign, or validate you. If you know what you're doing is right, you don't need any cosign or validation. And if you are truly a man, you don't even need somebody to tell you what I'm telling you, but I will do you a service and remind you of it here in this series here today. So what are some beliefs of yours that you have been keeping quiet about, at least when you could be talking about it? And again, harkening back to what I talked about a couple episodes ago. If you are the type of person who doesn't want to be on the internet putting your beliefs out there and going back and forth with people online, that's completely okay. I'm not telling all of you that whatever beliefs you have to say it on the internet in order for it to be real. What I'm saying is, when you do believe something and you're in a position where you could talk about it, but you decide not to simply because you're afraid of the blowback that you may get from other people, at that point, if you keep yourself quiet, then you're being a pussy. Right? That's what I'm saying. And again, you decide. You're the only one who actually knows. Now, you're the only one who actually knows whether you're doing this or not is you. I cannot look at you and say that you're doing it, because only you know if you really have something to say, or there's something that you want to say, or something that you strongly disagree. Only you truly know the answer to this. This is not really something that someone else can accuse you of or assign to you. I'm putting it out there because some people tell me of the thought patterns that they have that lead to this, and I'm going off of that to make this point. But only you really know. Legendary college basketball coach John Wooden used to say to his players at UCLA, because his team was often a lot more talented than the opponents that they were playing against. John Wooden would say to his players that only you know if you truly were a winner today, because only you know if you gave your best possible effort in the opportunity that you had. Because we are going to win. We're so much more talented than a lot of our opponents. We're going to win on the scoreboard more often than not, even if you don't try. But you're not a winner if you didn't try. If you didn't give proper effort, you're not a winner. So only you really know if you gave the best effort that you could have given today. And I'm not even going to try to assign it to you. I'm just let you know that, and you decide for yourself whether you're winning it every day or not. It's the same thing for the rest of you. Only you know if you truly had something to say and you held yourself back from saying it out of fear. I'm just putting it out there so that you have the frame. Moving on to point number 11. Today's topic, once again, is men, stop being pussies. Number 11, reconnect with your purpose or get yourself one. Man needs a purpose. Man needs a reason for existence. Man needs a reason for being here, taking up space, taking up oxygen, eating the food. Taking up space on the road. Men need a reason for this. And that's also known as your purpose. If you have a purpose, but you've gotten away from it, reconnect with your purpose. If you have never had a purpose, you need to go get yourself one before you do anything else. What are you about? You listen to this. What are you personally about? What would someone who doesn't know you but has observed you think or say that you're about? What would they believe that you're about? Where are you going in your life? Where are you going to be 5 years from now? Where are you going to be a year from now? Where are you going? What is your trajectory? What is your destiny? What do you think your destiny is? What do you think you were put here to do? And how much of that purpose are you living out right now? What are you looking to achieve in your lifetime before your time runs out? These are all good questions to ask yourself. All of these will help you get clearer on defining your purpose. And you need to know what your purpose is. You need to know what your reason for existence is. And you want to make sure you're focusing on achieving and living up to that purpose as much as possible on a daily basis. But if you don't know what your purpose is, you can't live up to it. So many men are walking around in the world these days with no purpose, no direction. And a man with no purpose is one of the most dangerous people on the planet, because if they have no purpose, they still have energy and they still have physical capabilities. That energy is going to send them to go do something if they don't have anything towards which to direct that purpose or direct that energy, let's say, and attention. While a man does not have the physicality of all animals, like a bear or a lion, a man does have the ability to rationally think in ways that animals do not. This is the reason why we dominate the animal kingdom, even though many animals are bigger and stronger and faster than humans. We're smarter than them. And a man has the physicality that a woman does not have. So we have the intelligence that animals don't have. We have the physicality that women don't have. And a man with no direction, again, can become the most dangerous person to be around, because he has to find some way to displace his energy. And with no specific place to aim that energy, a man may start directing that energy towards destructive habits and destructive behaviors that hurt not only him, but also hurt the people around him. Why? Because he has nowhere to go. A man without a purpose is a very dangerous member of society. You want all men to have a purpose. You want every person around you to have a reason why they wake up in the morning and go do whatever it is that they do. Why? Because they have a purpose that is driving them, controlling them, and holding them in check, holding them accountable. Now, how does a purpose hold you accountable? If you're an athlete, for example, you know you have a big game tomorrow night and you have friends in town and they're all going out to party and drink. You know that you should probably stay in the house, not party and not drink, so that you are fully rested and fully prepared to do what you need to do the next day in the big competition. All right, that's a form of your purpose holding you accountable. That your purpose keeping you disciplined. Because the purpose is I need to do this tomorrow, so I'm not going to do this tonight. All right, that's a way that purpose drives behavior. Sometimes that's behavior of things that you will do, and sometimes it's behavior of things that you exclude yourself from doing and you don't do. A man with no direction is a very dangerous individual. These are your school shooters, men with no direction. These are your rapists, not men with no direction. Men who have nothing to do. These are your criminals, your everyday criminals in your neighborhood, because they have nothing else to do. So they just eventually they find a way to use that energy towards something that is not so destructive, not so constructive. Excuse me. So when a man has no specific place to aim, again, his energy may start angling him towards destructive habits and destructive behaviors that hurt not only him, but also hurt the people around him. Man with nothing to do and no purpose may end up on drugs. And then he goes into the incarceration system, and that costs his family. And or then he goes into some type of rehab situation, and that also costs his family because the family is deprived of his presence. And this is what happens when a man has nothing to do. When a man has no purpose, they end up doing dumb shit. This is what men do. Any of you as a man has ever been in a situation where you didn't really have a clear purpose? How much time got wasted during that time period when you didn't have a clear purpose? A lot of time got wasted because you didn't have shit to do, but you had energy to use. That's the problem. So with no specific place to aim, a man could direct his energy towards destructive habits and destructive behaviors, things that hurt not only him, but also hurt the people around him. You want to make sure that's not happening to you. Moving on to point number 12. Today's topic, once again, is men. Stop being pussies. Number 12, appreciate your favorite celebrities, athletes, and influencers. Appreciate them for what they do, while at the same time, do not idolize any of them. This is the point. You can appreciate a famous person or the athlete, politician, entertainer, whoever it is that you like, and you appreciate the things that they do, but do not idolize these people. All right, if you're a man, you don't idolize other men. I don't care who they are or why you like what they do. You may like their stuff. You may borrow from their stuff. You may be a customer of their stuff. You may be a member of their programs. You may be a listener to the stuff that they put out, but you don't idolize another man when you're a man yourself. I like and follow sports, for example. I like and listen to music, for example. I do not watch much TV and I don't go to the movies. But even though I don't go to movies or watch TV, guarantee you, I could name you a few well-known movie stars. And why do I know them? Even though I don't watch TV or I know I don't watch the movies, is because I can appreciate them for their skills, their accomplishments, and their talents. And their accomplishment may just be that they're famous. So I can recognize and appreciate people for those things. And some of them, I can even draw inspiration from what they have created and what they have done. I draw inspiration from a lot of them and the things they've achieved up to this point. But I do not idolize any of these people. These are not my idols because none of them is my God. And they say in Christianity, do not worship false idols. And anyone who's not God that you're worshiping is a false idol. They are all false idols. No human being should ever be your idol because all human beings are mere mortals. And that means they have flaws and they have defects that you may or may not know about. Every human on the planet has flaws and defects that either you know about or you don't know about, including yourself. The closest thing you can come to an idol and in a human being should be your parents and no one else. So if you want to idolize somebody, idolize your parents, idolize the people who raised you because they laid the foundation for you becoming who you are now. So often on social media, if I happen to offer any type of critique of a person, usually of a politician, of an athlete, of an entertainer on one of my posts that I put on social media, it alarms me to see so many men pick up their guns and swords and go to war to defend the quote unquote honor of this person's name. I get on social media and say something about LeBron James. A bunch of LeBron James idolizers, idolaters, they come into the response and they start telling me how I'm wrong and I'm bad and I'm sad and I'm a hater because of what I said about LeBron James. So are you LeBron James? Why are you getting so engaged over something said about a person who you don't even know and who doesn't even know you? Why? So anytime I see men getting all excited about these things and defending the honor of another person's name, it's just quite ridiculous to me. But I see a lot of men doing this. Men, you cannot be a leader. You can't be a conqueror going around idolizing other men. Even if the other men you are idolizing did great things. We don't doubt that. But there's too many men who've done great things for you to idolize all of them. You're going to run out of time. You're going to fall asleep just trying to put the list together. So the whole point here is appreciate other people, draw inspiration and energy from their decisions and their creators, but do not go any further than that. Everybody got it? Great. all that said, let's recap today's class, which is you do not need, actually, that was the first point. Let's recap today's class, which is part 4 of our ongoing series, Men Stop Being Pussies. Number 10, you do not need group consensus to stand on what you believe. If you believe something, you don't need anyone else in the room to agree with it for you to be willing to stand on it and defend it. Number 11, reconnect with your purpose or get yourself a purpose. What are you about? Where are you going? What is your destiny? What are you looking to achieve before your time runs out? You should have answers to these questions so that you know what you should be directing your energy towards in the course of every day, not just going through the motions, go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to sleep, do it again tomorrow. You should have a clear purpose as to why you're doing the things you're doing, not just what you're doing. And number 12, appreciate your favorite celebrities, athletes, and influence, but do not idolize these people. They are not your idols. They are not your gods. They happen to be very talented, skilled, and or good at the thing that they do, which is cool. And you can appreciate them, you can like them, you can watch them, you can even be a fan, you can even buy tickets, you can even buy their jersey or their sneakers if they have any. But these people do not become your idols. Now, the idol that you're actually going to have as soon as you become a man is a person in the mirror. You're going to be your own idol. Like Kanye said in one of his raps, he said, I inspire me. All right, that's the way you want to look at it. You want to be thanking yourself. You inspire yourself. I did a weekly motivation video back in the days. This is maybe 2011, 2012. And the title of the weekly motivation that week was I'm Me. Now, what does that mean? Because there was an entertainer who was very popular at the time. His name was Lil Wayne. Most of you have heard of him. He had an album out and a popular song where he said in the song, I'm me. And you need to idolize yourself as the person that you most look up to. Not I'm him, I'm me. So again, I follow sports as well as music. And I don't watch much TV, don't go to movies, but I can name some well-known movie stars. I can name some well-known musicians. None of them is an idol of mine. If I was idolizing anybody, again, I already told you this, it should be your parents if you're going to idolize anybody. And if it's not going to be them, then it got to be you. And if it's not you, then it's nobody. You have no idols. Again, none of these people is your God. No human being should ever be your idol. And the closest thing you can come to having an idol in a human being should be the people who raise you. Besides that, nobody. That's how it works. All that said, everybody, tomorrow we will get into part 5. Is that part 5? Yes, part 5 of our ongoing series, which will be concluding with tomorrow's episode of Men Stop Being Pussies. Make sure, workonmygame.com, get on my email list, workingyourgameuniversity.com, join my coaching program, have me as your direct coach. I'll see you in there. Work on your game. Dre, all